And then we'll get some questions in the chat as well. I don't think we're going to get many today because we're going to probably go for a little bit over at the hour mark. But I wanted to ask Jesse and Finding Jim too about single-sided staking and their thoughts just in general. I saw you made the tweet, Jesse, and I've heard back and forth. Oh, some people don't want it to happen. You know, it's kind of not quite EHEX VHEX type of almost a diversion, divisiveness. But it's definitely one of those things, and people have strong opinions one way or another. Usually, I'm kind of like, I never look forward to it really in the first place, but it'd be nice if we had it. That's kind of my thing. But yeah, what do you think? You want to expand a little bit on this tweet, just your thoughts on single-sided staking for PulseX or anything else that comes out, and why it seems like you may see some pros with it.
Yeah. So you look at any major DeFi protocol, whether it's Pancake or Liquidity or Maker or Balancer, Curve, Convex, a number of different places. The whole idea is there's some token that does more than just sit in people's wallets, right? So imagine if PulseX, cool, it's got a buy and burn. That's great. But what else does it do besides sit in people's wallets? Whether they're a liquidity provider, I guess people can deploy liquidity. Well, there's always that, right? And then other people, all they have to do is buy and sell it. But what is there to do with it? Nothing, right? So what these other DeFi protocols have all done is they've said, well, how do we incentivize people not to sell this thing? Because people get impatient. People like to dump things the moment that they feel they'll get more for it today than tomorrow. How do we encourage people to just hold and they at least get something out of holding? And that's where things like single-sided staking come along, where the idea of, well, what if I lock these things up, not for a time lock, but if I can just lock these things while I'm locked, I can earn these other tokens that other teams have put up for free, right? So there's always memes, there's always DeFi protocols, there's surprisingly, there's actually a ton of telegrams of teams coming to PulseChain. I can't say that they're not, majority rugs, but there's a number of them that are legitimate, and they just don't have good exposure. So if those teams, let's say their distribution model was, well, we want to distribute to people who are staking and not selling their PulseX, for example. Now, the people who would have otherwise only had the option to sell their PulseX, now they're quite happy just locking it up, not selling it, which makes the price go up easier, but they get these other things for free, and they're welcome to hold on to those for speculation, or they're welcome to swap those out and try and acquire more PulseX so they can get bigger rewards, or whatever they want to do. It's just a mechanism for locking up the thing that you don't want people to sell.
So why would people form an opinion of liking or wanting single-sided staking versus not? It's just people just want something to do with their coins right now, and we don't, Power City's not out, or otherwise to do things with third party. Or why do you think people are so excited about it? Or is it just a meme coin, or just earning new coins, yield in general?
Well, the only reason I'll give an opinion. My opinion is the only reason people reverse that statement is because Richard said something that was contrary to what he said in the past. He made a tweet, and his tweet said something like, I don't understand why I would pay someone to hold the token. Like, why would I pay them? And it seems like giving away free money. So his tweet was out of the blue, unexpected, counter to a narrative that had been said for many years. And it's very similar to, in my opinion, saying this is going to be a dividend. This is going to be a cash flow to holding real estate. This is going to be the fruit that comes from the orchard. And then basically saying that's a dumb idea. People have pensions. People put into 401ks. People lock up money all the time. There's a design of a single-sided staking, which is called HEX, and it's built into the protocol that has an earning you know, based of more hex on hex return for locking up in time and contract. So the only people that I think that I see on Twitter that say it's a bad idea are people that are echoing the same thing, I don't think with thoughtfulness, simply because Richard had made a tweet along those lines. That's my view.
I think what I was thinking was, remember it was in testnet, the previous one. But then, I mean, there were some clips where I've heard Richard talk about it. You know, I don't know. I even clipped one where he said probably not. But also, yeah, if it's on testnet, it kind of sets, we shouldn't not have those expectations, should we? No expectations, but it certainly seemed like it was going that direction. That, yeah, like you said, all of a sudden.
Well, and another thing is, again, so whether you like them or whether you don't, let's just use B Roots. I'm friends with B Roots. I like B Roots. So I like his commentary. I like his show. Do I speculate on things that are talked about on a show? I do not. So it's not like I have bias. I just like the guy, and I think that the guy makes some statements that are probably more transparent than other people's statements. And you know, if I were to speculation about why a single-sided staking pivot by Richard's tweet, there's two things that come to mind. One is there's some legal thing that I'm not aware of as far as there's a risk vector in generating, right? But probably more likely is Richard didn't like 3 years or 4 years ago people shilling a coin inside of Telegram rooms that he had. Richard didn't like people coming onto his YouTube channel and commentary and shilling a coin that was not his design. You know, for risk vector reasons, community, vampire attack reasons, whatever you want to call it, right? He just does not like promoting other people's products, right? And that's prerogative, and often that's a very safe prerogative. If you have invested capital, brand into building a community and a consuming audience of your product, why would you want to shill someone else's product? Doesn't make sense, right? So the single-sided staking thing, which was pitched, and I thought part of the design of the PulseX product platform, I think that that's a risk vector, because if you are being paid effectively in other people's coin for staking PLSX, as an example, are you going to talk about PLSX as the best thing since sliced bread? Or are you going to talk about the product that you're likely to dump into the marketplace for a price? Like, it
I can see both. I can see both, because you'll need PLSX to do it, but at the same time, a lot of the marketing will go towards the other coin. Yeah.
I mean, I see a few people talk about how wonderful it is to accumulate incentive token. And then I see a lot of people say, well, that's a dump forever token. So like, if your financial reward is promoting the value of incentive token and having the price go up because other people agree that incentive token has value, the same sort of thing can happen about whatever else is proposed by someone that wants to have that audience, right? Have that buying audience. So like, there's nuance, and certainly I do not know what's in Richard's head. I don't think anybody does but Richard. And you know, the unknowns are what we all make content about. We do not know. I think that the chart reflects, and the actions of the community reflects the ambiguity and the pivot or the rotation, right? So, and then later, I think like a week later, comments, Richard had said something like it's being worked on, like almost as a capitulation statement. That's how I view everything right now.